What's up, Canes fans? Welcome to the Canes Insight Daily Podcast powered by Anijar and Levine Accident Attorneys. We have an exclusive for you. The very first interview with Damien Martinez, Miami's new running back, since he decided to join the Miami Hurricanes. You guys are really going to enjoy this one. Big time player who's going to play a huge part of Miami's future. We will talk about him a little bit, and then we'll go straight into the interview with Damien. He was a great guest, brought to you by Canes Connection. First, I want to talk about my friends at Anijar and Levine Accident Attorneys. You're talking about a running back that's going to carry the load. They will carry the load for your case. If you or someone you care about has been injured in an accident, you could be entitled to significant compensation. 1-800-747-FREE, 1-800-747-3733. Take back control of your life with Anijar and Levine. All right, Pete, get in here. So Damien Martinez, really, when you look at the numbers here, and I pulled them up just to go through them here, the newest addition to Miami's running back room, of course, the transfer from Oregon State, along with Cam Ward, the jewel of this transfer portal season. 6 foot, 238, so we're talking a huge back. 39 carries over 10 yards, which puts him fifth among Power 5 backs last year. As a freshman, 982 yards rushing. As a sophomore, 1,185 yards rushing. So that is 2,167 yards rushing before he turned 20. So as a teenager, he was putting up those numbers in the prime of the Pac-12. 11,300 meters in high school. So he does have some speed. Again, he cranked a lot of explosive runs, more explosive runs than Miami's entire team, quite frankly, last year for Oregon State. Coming from Louisville, Texas, the Dallas area. Some great Canes out of Dallas, including Jesse Armstead, who tore up this dirt behind me, from Bill Campbell. He's, of course, from Dallas Carter. So nice to get back into Dallas with the Miami Hurricanes. So, Pete, you've watched the film, you talked to scouts. What do you see when you look at Damien Martinez?
Well, you see a guy who obviously has the size, but although he may not be the quickest, right, once he gets that ball going downhill, he's a load to bring down. And again, once he gets going, once he gets moving in the open field with a full head of steam, he can run by you. He can run through you. I think the adjustment, one of them, at least talking to scouts, right, who had a chance to see him the last couple of years at Oregon State. And he's now going to be draft eligible here going into his third year. But again, as I've mentioned before, the scouts aren't really watching guys who aren't draft eligible until it's their year. But a certain scout that I spoke to had the chance to see him over there and is also familiar with what Miami does. And Oregon State ran a lot under center, I formation, single back, right? So he had some time to kind of get going downhill, get his full steam ahead. He's going to be running out of the shotgun a lot more at Miami. And look, I don't think it's going to be too much of an adjustment, but that's just something different to watch with him. The interesting part to me about his dynamic coming down here, one of the interesting things, right? And he talks about it in his interview, but he has been down here for a few weeks already training with Frank Gore and Jonathan Taylor through his agency, First Round Management. And he said Jonathan Taylor just went back, obviously, with the Colts, getting ready for OTAs there. But having a chance the last few weeks and still can't train with the team until May 14th or June 14th, because he's finishing up classes online in Oregon State now. Talk about the ability to come in here with hitting the ground running with two greats, obviously Frank Gore at Miami and all time, but Jonathan Taylor as well, who's currently doing it. So the ability for him to work with those guys hand in hand before he even steps foot on campus, to me, gives him a huge upper hand. And he's young too. I mean, this is not a guy who, although he looks, because he's 6'1", 6'2", 220, right? He looks like he's an older guy, but we talked about he was 19 during the season last year. So,
yeah, and look, you talk about the fit. You mentioned the shift from I-back to shotgun. Obviously, that'll be an adjustment. Now, Mark Fletcher last year had no problem, a similar back running that style. I think the biggest thing for him is he's joining an offensive line that was top 3 in yards before contact for the backs, and the backs really didn't do much with it. Parrish, Chaney, these are all guys that rank towards the bottom as far as, yards after contact, explosive runs, good backs, but not guys that were really doing anything with the yardage that was given to them by this offensive line. So Martinez is somebody that you give him that many yards before contact. Again, top 3 in the country. He's got a head of steam. He's going to be running you over. He can make big runs. 4 runs over 40 yards. Again, Parrish and Chaney got 0 last year combined. In their entire Miami careers, they had 0 runs over 40. So this guy can be explosive. He's also going to be tough to tackle with that head of steam. Certainly coming for the NFL. Makes sense that he's training with guys like Jonathan Taylor and Frank Gore. His goal is to tear it up and then go to the NFL and become that next great Miami back in the league. Going back, and Miami's had some NFL backs in recent years, whether it's Travis Homer, Mark Walton, DJ Dallas, guys that have made the pros. Probably have to go back to Duke Johnson to find a college back that was this good. And if you're talking about the full total package as far as the size and production, Lamar Miller was very productive in both the pros and in college. He had the size. He was probably more of a speed back. Duke, really good between the tackles, but you kind of watch his carries because of his size. I'd say you have to go all the way back to like a Frank Gore in terms of just a guy that's a true every down kind of franchise back who's going to grind it out between the tackles and make big plays at that 200+ size. That's what Martinez brings based on what he's done on tape. Again, he did this all as a teenager in the prime of the Pac-12. So you expect that production to carry over with – he had a good offensive line in Oregon State, but now the best offensive line he's ever played with, certainly the best offensive – or the offense he's ever played with, quarterback. Significant gap between Cam Ward and DJ Uiagalelei. Can he pronounce his name? But certainly there's a major gap between those 2 quarterbacks and the threat they pose. So you expect to see his production jump quite a bit. But anyways, that's enough about us talking about him. Let's hear from the man himself. The first interview with Damien Martinez since he chose the Miami Hurricanes, brought to you by Canes Connection. Which, by the way, before I even get into that, this interview is brought to you by Canes Connection. If you want more great players like Damien Martinez, like Cam Ward, like Sam Brown, Tyler Barron, we can go on and on. Be part of the solution. CanesConnection.com, promo code CIS. You get 20% off your first month. Access to a private Zoom chat. I just had one last week. We have one next week. We'll wrap up the visits, talk about all the things happening with the Miami Hurricanes. You do not want to miss those. Those are the freshest information straight from the sources as we get ready for a major month of recruiting. You will hear everything first and most exclusive in a private setting, stuff that I can't say in a public setting like this. If you are a Canes Connection member, again, promo code CIS, and you will be locked and loaded 20% off your first month. Be part of the solution, getting guys like Damien Martinez. And of course, we're always shouting out Canes wear, Florida Panthers gear, Miami Hurricanes, Miami Heat, you name it, caneswear.com. All right, I got the plugs in. Now let's go to the man himself, Damien Martinez.
All right, Canes fans, very excited about this next guest here on the Canes Insight podcast. Damien Martinez, new running back at the University of Miami and Canes Connection athlete. Appreciate you for joining me today, Damien. How you doing?
No, I'm good. Appreciate you for having me.
Yeah, man. So it's always great to get you guys on the show, get to know you a little bit off the field, right? Everyone's excited about your talent, the ability that you're bringing here to Coral Gables, to the University of Miami, but get to know you a little bit outside of that, because you guys are more than just football players, and you do have brands outside of the game. So excited to talk to you about some of that stuff, but we got to get right into your transition to Miami, man. How's it been early on here? It's hot, but you're a Texas boy, so I would imagine you're pretty used to that. But how's the first few weeks been down here?
No, it's been smooth. I mean, like you said, just transitioning and getting ready to compete really with the team, and just training. That's all I really been doing, just training. I can't really train with the team till next month, like in the 14th, because I'm still doing classes online. So I just been training with my through my agency. Other than that, it's been smooth, just getting everything set.
So your decision, obviously you had a bunch of opportunities to go pretty much anywhere you wanted, but you landed at Miami here. Talk to me a little bit about the opportunity that you saw here. Obviously it's a great city, but at the end of the day, business is business and football is football. Yeah. So I had to imagine your decision was pretty much based on that.
Yeah, no, that's all it was about. Just like I said, over the past few months, just proving I'm the best. You know, the opportunity presented itself here. I mean, with Cam Ward and Restrepo and receivers on the edge, Jacoby George. I mean, it's going to be nice. Like I said, his offense is going to be explosive. It's really what I was ready to get into. And then, Mark, he's getting back. So ready to work with him too and all the other backs. I'll be the oldest in the room this time, which is completely new from Oregon State where I was the youngest. But, I got a lot of experience and I'm just ready to show these guys how it's done.
And you're not an old guy either, right?
No,
I mean, you're pretty much still, you're a younger guy. You were 19 last year, right? I mean, during the season. So, I mean, you still have a lot of great football in front of you as obvious. So, yeah, you are the older guy now, but you still aren't an old dude for real. So, just talk about that coaching staff a little bit too, also, right? I mean, their pitch to you, Coach Cristobal, Coach Mirabal is an offensive line coach, but I'd have to imagine again that the offensive line was a part of.
My bad. I didn't mean to cut you
all
off.
Good.
Computer.
No, all good. Is the computer low battery?
Yeah, it's low on battery. But okay. I heard you. I mean, yeah, I'm just ready to get to work with everybody.
Hold on. We can. Let me redo the question because I think you started to do it, but you got plugged in there? You're good.
Yeah, he's plugging it in right now.
Okay. So
we're good.
All right. So I'll just redo the question. All right, Damien, talk to me a little about the coaching staff at Miami. Obviously, that had to be a part of it as well. Coach Cristobal and Coach Mirabal really emphasized the offensive line. And as a running back, that had to have been music to your ears, right?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, they were pushing hard from the beginning. I mean, they did 2 in-home visits. I mean, they were really connected, really getting to know me even outside of football before. So, yeah, I'm just ready to get to work with them because they made it real genuine and just everything they presented on the field was just as good as everything was off the field. I mean, I'm just ready to really get to work with them, be with the team, and just flow with the team so we can get it going.
Talk to me a little bit about your athletic journey. Was it always football from a young age? Did you play other sports? I mean, just talk to me about how we got where we are today.
No, yeah, I played football growing up since I was 4. I mean, in Texas, it's a big thing, just even high school football. So just growing up, I played football. It's always been my thing. So, yeah, running back especially.
And you were always a running back?
Yeah, always.
So that's the interesting part, right? Because you hear about guys who, you're a bigger guy, right? But playing running back, right? They try to pigeonhole you into certain positions when you're younger, right? So that mentality, that running style that you run with, right? It seems like you're running with bad intentions every time you have the ball in your hands, right? Talk to me where that comes from. Was it just from being a football player from a young age? I mean, talk to me about where you think it came from.
No, yeah, for sure. I mean, my coaches at a young age, they was my best friend his dad was a coach in Pee Wee. He played with the same team growing up. So they taught us from a young age, we're not preparing you for high school or nothing. We're preparing you for the next college and NFL. That's what they really emphasized that. And looking at it now is what they really did. So I definitely see that transition, how that intensity I run with from Pee Wee to now.
Any running backs you grew up, watching and trying to take certain things from their game?
Yeah, Adrian Peterson and Le'Veon Bell, those two for sure. I like those two growing up. But right now, I probably watch more of Josh Jacobs and still a little bit of Le'Veon Bell. But yeah.
Okay, and yeah, man, people, because you are a bigger back, 6'2", 220, 230, right? They try to say, oh, he's a power back, right? But then you look at the number of big runs that you had, explosive runs downfield. So I mean, where do you think the next step for your game is, right? Because you've shown the power element, you've shown the big play element, but where do you think that next step is for you? And I've already, you've said it before, but you want to take that next step to the NFL level, obviously, right? That's what you play for, right? So where do you think that is for you?
Definitely, just being more of a threat without the ball, just being a pass protector and also just catching out the backfield. I mean, everybody can run the ball in the league. That's why they're there, running backs. But, you want to be able to separate yourself. So, just catching the ball at the backfield, I think I'll be able to really do that here well, especially with Cam. Looking at his stats, he threw the ball to the running back I think it was 100 and almost 100 something times in the last season, and then combined, I don't even know, but it was a lot of yards that the running back got from him. So, I think I'll be able to show that a lot with Cam, and then that's what I need to show for the next level for sure.
And it's interesting because the offense, right? It's it's called an air raid, but when you look at the numbers last year and how much Miami runs the ball, it seems like there could be a real balance this year with the weapons that you guys have on the outside, that running back room. Obviously, there's some young guys in there as well who look like they can definitely make an impact. So having balance too. How excited are you about that?
Yeah, no, I think it's a great balance. I mean, like you said, just it's going to be explosive with the other guys in the room. I mean, Chris Johnson is one of the fastest dudes I've seen. So, I mean, he's definitely a change of pace back. And then hopefully we get Mark Fletch back and then the other guys in the room. I still got to, get close and learn more of the other guys. But, yeah, no, it's definitely going to be nice. It's change of pace and the balance this offense is going to have.
So let's talk a little bit about this move to South Florida. Obviously, you grew up in Texas, outside of the Dallas area, correct?
Yeah.
And then Corvallis, right? It's a little bit different than
flipped on
South
his
Florida
head.
and Miami, right? So how's that transition been for you? Again, it's about football down here, but it's nice to have the tropical feel down here, right?
Yeah, no, the weather is great. I mean, I was at Oregon State the last 2 years. I mean, like I said, it's literally flipped on its head. It's always gray and rainy kind of over there. It gets nice sometimes, but over here, yeah, it's always nice. The weather just, weather is the weather. So, yeah.
Now, off the field, man, talk to us a little about some of your interests, right? Football seems like it's the number one most important thing for you.
Yeah.
But in terms of when you're done with workouts, when you're done with everything football related for the day, school related, what are some of the things that you're interested in that you like to get into?
No, I mean, I guess it's just what every other guy my age say, just be on the game, really. I mean, Just football in the game, that's it. You don't really got much time for anything else or getting the playbook. I'm ready to get to learn the playbook more and stuff like that. So, yeah, whenever that comes along down the road, I'm ready to get into that.
You mentioned the video games. The question that everyone is asking now, are you going to be on the game, the new EA Sports college football game now?
Yeah, no, I opted in. I mean, hopefully, they roster change and everything. It goes as it's supposed to. But, yeah, no, I'll be in the game.
Okay. So I got to ask you this then. Are you going with the attributes that they give you right off the bat? Are you boost? Are you boost? Because you know how it goes. They're not going to make you as fast as you think you should be. They're not going to give you the trucking that you want. So, like, are you going to be real with it, or are you going to maybe boost it a little bit?
No, I'm gonna take what they give me, but they're supposed to like update the stats through the season. So I'll show them, and it'll be where it's supposed to be.
Are you now? Now they're gonna have everyone's image and likeness. So they're gonna have the red dreads in there too.
Oh, that'd be hard. I didn't think about that.
Should.
Hopefully, yeah. I think in the trailer they was talking about some dude had dyed hair in there. So yeah, we'll see. Listen,
and now I'll give you permission if they don't put that in there, then I give you permission to change that because it doesn't really affect the the in-game stuff, right?
Yeah, no, that'd be hard though.
So a couple more questions here before I let you go. When we talk about Miami historically, right, produces great running backs, right? Yeah. And obviously you've been down here on a visit. I know you're not in there every day, but you see Edgerrin James up there, Clinton Portis, Willis McGahee, the list of Frank Gore, the list goes on and on, right? So when you see that, and you may not have had the chance to meet them just yet, but a lot of those guys are constantly coming back and around campus.
I met Frank plenty of times. I work out with the place I'm working out. Him and his son come there whenever they're in town. So I met Frank plenty of times.
What's it like? I mean, what does he tell you? I mean, it's got to be cool knowing, man, I could be next in line here.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, it's kind of like that. The same thing. He'd be telling me, he wants me to work hard, wants to see me succeed. So he pushes me. He pushes himself too. He's a hard worker even now. So yeah, he's a good dude.
And then, what did your family think about this move for you, this transition? And, what are the thoughts on how everything's turned out?
I mean, they just, supportive. I have a small family, my grandparents, my mom, my uncle, and my little brother, it's my small family. So, yeah, I mean, they're just supportive and just want to see me succeed too. Just, they know I'm going to take care of them in the back end. That's all I'm playing for. So, yeah.
Any message to Miami fans here before I let you go, Damien? Obviously, you learned early on. I think you saw during your recruitment, Miami fans can get pretty crazy on social media. They get behind their people. So you have a message for them going into this season here?
Nah, just get ready for a show. This offense is gonna be explosive. We're gonna compete at a high level. Just be ready.
Damien Martinez once again here with Canes Connection. Canes fans, remember to sign up for Canes Connection, support great athletes here like Damien Martinez, new to the U. We welcome him to the city of Miami, and everyone's excited for what's ahead, Damien. So thank you once again.
Thank you for having me.